Well, first of all, let me say thank you so much for volunteering to serve as one of our congregation's visiting canvassers this year. I don't think I need to explain to any of you how critically important the successful pledge drive is in the life of this or any religious community. And it's particularly important right now in the life of UUCM because we're poised on the edge of a tremendous opportunity, a pivotal point in history. I've just preached a sermon on this, so I'm not sure I want to preach it again, but I will tell you that you are going to call the sixth settled minister in the last 111 years of UUCM's history. It's a historic event, and this new minister will take to the pulpit in August of this year at a time when our nation is in, I believe, really critical times, maybe even dire straits. And so increasing numbers of people are going to be coming to this congregation in the years ahead looking for spiritual sanctuary, looking for a rallying point with like-minded people, and looking for a launching pad for social justice. And we need to equip the ministry to be successful in the year ahead, which makes this year's annual fund drive critically important. The visits that you're going to make into the homes of our members are really essential, and it's highly likely that you will be asking for the largest pledges that our members are going to make. And I am committed to seeing you be successful and effective, because if you're successful, the congregation is successful and effective. Let me just offer you a couple of thoughts about going into homes as a canvasser and visiting. It is, I think, important to be relentlessly positive, upbeat, optimistic, and to never miss an opportunity to express appropriate gratitude without sounding obsequious in any way. You're going to be given a list of names, and you're going to be asked to contact people, and the goal is to get yourself into their home, to sit down with them, because we all know that the quality of conversation is different when we're elbow to elbow, knee to knee with somebody, talking, listening, sharing. That personal warmth makes a big difference. So the goal is to be invited into someone's home. So how you approach somebody about the visit is really important from the very start. Be happy, be optimistic, so glad to talk with you. Say why you're calling. I would like to come and visit with you. What time would be convenient? And so you're sort of assuming that the answer is yes, come on over. And so you frame it that way, which makes it more likely that someone will say, well, Tuesday after 7. I would be persistent in trying to sit down with somebody because we all know that something north of 70% of human communication is nonverbal. We just can't see somebody and read somebody over the phone. So it's important to sit down together. You might say that part of what you're doing, a big part of what you're doing, is going to listen to them, and the quality of your listening and understanding is dramatically improved by being with somebody. And saying, by the way, just like the opportunity to get together and be with you. So do as much as you possibly can without being kind of overbearing or belligerent or coercive to get invited into someone's home. And the goal is to be in a home. Not to be in a restaurant, not to be sitting here after a service on Sunday. It's to get into someone's home because that's where they're most comfortable. So let's assume that you do get invited over. You go over to visit somebody. You want to sit down in the living room is always the best place. Sometimes the kitchen or dining room table is a good place. And really what you're trying to do is connect, first of all, in a very human way. Just if you don't know these folks, get to know them. Just find out about their family, find out about their involvement at UUCM, talk about yourself, create a human connection. And then what you're going to want to do is talk to them about the congregation. And as I said, be relentlessly positive and to be mission focused and talk about why UUCM is so important. And what you really want to do is get them telling you why UUCM is so important, because they're kind of pre-selling themselves on the idea that this is really important. So you might want to take in a handful of questions with you. Last year, I think there's some nice questions were developed about what's most important about UUCM to you? What are you most proud of? You're sort of planting seeds of them telling you good stories and conjuring up warm feelings about the congregation. You do want to talk about their experience, hopefully the best things. If they talk to you about something that wasn't successful, that wasn't good, if they've got a criticism, you know what? That's okay. The most important thing is that you really listen in an interested way. And if they are being critical, don't try and disagree with them. Don't try and close an argument. Lean in, ask the next question, because you want to make sure that they feel heard. And it's always a good idea if someone has some sort of critical or constructive feedback, write it down. Be prepared to take some notes. Say, I just want to capture these thoughts because this seems important to me. Write it down. That really is powerful in helping people feel heard and valued by the community. So taking some notes is always a good thing, particularly if it's a critique of some sort. And listening just can't be overstated in its importance. That's really what you want, is for them to do most of the talking in one of these visits. And you definitely want to set the stage for asking for their pledge, and go in asking, know what their pledge was, know if you're going to ask them to increase their pledge. You don't want to put numbers in their mouth, but have in mind what you're asking them to do. Part of being in someone's home is to kind of read their home. You know where they live, you know what they drive, you know what the house looks like. You have a sense of their giving capacity. And listening to what's going on in their lives tells you whether they're positioned to really step up their contributions or maybe not. But so ask them to make their pledge. Have them fill out the pledge card right there while you're in the house, so that you walk away with a completed pledge card, as opposed to talk a little bit and have them say, well, we'll think about it and we'll get back to you next week. The goal is to have them commit that day, make a pledge, fill out the pledge card. That's always the most successful thing, because they're going to feel best about the congregation immediately after your conversation. After you leave, then doubts could creep in and they may second guess themselves. So the idea is to get in, have a comfortable, happy, warm conversation that talks about what's best about UUCM. Talk about the future. Talk about how important UUCM is going to be. Contextualize our ministry in the years ahead. God knows what's going to happen in the American political landscape or to the social fabric. Underscore how important UUCM has been. You might even brush up on the congregation's history. Just read that little history pamphlet so that you know some of the high points of what UUCM has done. And be prepared to just sort of seed the conversation with those affirmations of the power and importance of UUCM's ministry. So I just think that every study shows that an in-home visit that asks for financial support produces the best results. It produces the most generous gifts. It leaves people feeling good about the community. It leaves them feeling valued by the community, that UUCM cares so much about them, that a representative wants to sit down in their home and listen to them and take notes and report back. So what you're doing is really, really important. And again, just the last word out of your mouth, out of my mouth, is always thank you, that genuine expression of gratitude for what people are doing and giving to the ministry. And on that note, I just want to thank you for what you are doing and giving to our ministry. Your service cannot be overstated in its importance, and I am personally grateful to you. Thank you. Good luck. You're going to do a great job.